have been a few times over the last 5 centuries when the Longleat Estate has very nearly become just history. In 1567, the old house burnt to the ground. Back in the mid-1700s, the second Viscount Weymouth came close to bankrupting the place. And then in 2001, a different kind of disaster threatened to wipe out the safari park and almost all the animals in it. When spring arrived in 2001, the country lay gripped by a terrible disease. The epidemic of foot and mouth was spreading like wildfire. The only way to stop it seemed to be by taking extreme measures. So wherever it broke out, all susceptible animals in the vicinity had to be destroyed. On the 2nd of March 2001, the disease struck just 15 kilometres from Longleat. Estate manager Tim Moore had to take immediate action.
This morning we were faced with the reality of knowing there is a confirmed outbreak of foot and mouth disease at Melksham. So what we've had to do is to decide, do we stay open or do we close? We have closed, basically. We've shut the whole of the park, which is 1,000 acres. We've locked the gates apart from 2 controlled entry points which we're staffing. And we've had to say, sorry, no access except to those who have to come here to look after the animals or carry out key services to staff. Nobody else unless it's for some really essential business.
With the whole future of the safari park under threat, the estate gave our film crew permission to stay and document what happened. At the time, there were elephants at the park, and even they could contract this terrible disease. Head Warden Keith Harris had a grim list of other species that were also at risk.
There's probably about between 70 and 80% of our animals would be susceptible to foot and mouth. Everything from the giraffe in the background here to deer that are running on the park, our antelope, Here David deer, which is an endangered species, Ankoli cattle, buffalo. So it's quite a wide range of different species that it's going to affect if it did get here. It would mean a large proportion of these animals would have to be destroyed. It would be catastrophic.
The safari park is why people come here. It's what we're all about. So for 400,000 visitors, 80% come here to see a safari park. If we get an infection, we would lose over half the animals in the safari park through slaughter, and we could lose an entire year's turnover of the business.
There's a number of ways it can be spread. One is by people can carry it. Vehicles can carry it. But I think one of the main worries is it can be windblown, which means it can quite literally travel in the air, which nobody can legislate. I mean, we've got our precautions down to stop people and vehicles carrying it into the park, but it can actually fly across all boundaries. So that is probably the more worrying part about this disease.
At the safari park's only remaining entrance gate, Deputy Head Warden Ian Turner took charge.
At the moment we're just doing boots, and the reason is to keep the hygiene to the best we can, to stop any diseases coming in. Every vehicle enters onto the straw's being sprayed with a disinfectant. We've got a spray pump and every vehicle's wheels are sprayed. Whoever's driving the vehicle's got to get out and they've got to do the feed, and they do that on entering the park and leaving. There's only one way anybody can get into the park, and this is this road in. All other roads have been closed. We've got the wind blowing down country, which is bad. The virus survives better in damp, cold, miserable weather, which is exactly the weather we're getting, which is what we don't want. We want it to get warm up a bit, warmer the better. It's just another worry. It's just something else. We just don't need this.
Tim Yeo was in charge of many of the cloven-hoofed animals at risk in the park.
We're just about to go up and move the fallow deer back into the safari park. We want to do this quite quickly because of the outbreak of foot and mouth in the area, and there's a confirmed case nearby. We really just want to bring animals in a bit closer away from our perimeter fences, really, back into the centre of the park.
There were over 200 fallow deer to bring in, and every spare hand in the park turned out to help. Bob Trollope led the team going up into the woods.
As soon as you come to them, go like that sort of thing. So avoid them so they can run past if they want. Anything else has got to go. Alright? Can you spread out a bit more?
The 20-strong team formed a line to herd the deer down towards the gate.
They're going along the race. You can actually see them going along the race now, so that's good. What was that? Well, hopefully, we just got news from Tim that I think most of them have actually, well, all of them have actually gone through where we want them to go. So it's worked. Thanks ever so much, everybody. That was wonderful. They're all in. I know that's hard work going up that hill, but brilliant. Thank you very much. Job done.
The giraffery is home to camels, zebra, goats and tapirs, as well as the giraffes, and every single one of them was vulnerable to foot and mouth. Back in 2001, the head of section was Lucy Harnell.
It would be very traumatic for everybody if we lost the animals. It's hard to imagine. The worst comes to the worst, having the animals put down, it's hard to imagine it, and it's going to be absolutely devastating for all of us. Feeding time is important at the moment because we can get a lot closer to the animals while they're eating, and we can have a good check of their mouths and their feet, and make sure everyone is eating, so it's a good time for us to have a really close check of the animals. Or just by feeding them bananas like this by hand, the ones that are more tame we can feed by hand, we can have a closer, good check at their mouth and check for anything that shouldn't be there.
Across the park, all the keepers were doing these grim checks, and even a single sign of foot and mouth would mean death to almost every animal here.